You may know him as the British Prime Minister who rallied his nation against Nazi Germany during World War II, but what you might not know is that Winston Churchill was a failed politician, losing multiple elections and struggling to find his place in the world. In 1899, he even got rejected from becoming the Conservative candidate for the borough of Oldham. The indomitable spirit of Winston Churchill. It's a story that begins in the most unlikely of places, Blenheim Palace, Woodstock, Oxfordshire, England. Specifically, on November 30, 1874. Born into a family steeped in tradition and privilege, Churchill was the grandson of the 7th Duke of Marlborough. But beneath the opulent facade, the Churchill household was fraught with tension and poverty. His father, Lord Randolph Churchill, was a spendthrift, and his mother, Jenny Jerome, struggled to keep up appearances. The young Winston felt the pinch, forced to rely on his wit and imagination to entertain himself in the grand halls of Blenheim. As he grew older, the challenges only intensified. Churchill's parents were at odds with each other, their marriage crumbling under the weight of financial woes. In 1889, the family was forced to leave Blenheim, moving to a modest home in Dublin, Ireland. It was there that Winston first discovered his love for storytelling and writing. Despite these hardships, Churchill's natural charm and charisma shone through. He excelled at school, developing a passion for history and politics. Little did anyone know, the makings of a legendary leader were being forged in the crucible of adversity. The rest, as they say, is history. Winston Churchill, a man of unyielding spirit and unwavering determination. But even he had his share of setbacks. His first major failure came in 1899 when he stood as Conservative candidate for the parliamentary seat of Oldham. He lost by just 5 votes. Yes, you heard that right, 5 votes. The margin was so slim that Churchill himself described it as a narrow squeak. This crushing defeat sent Churchill reeling. He was just 25 years old and had always been driven to succeed. The sting of rejection was a bitter pill to swallow. For a while, he contemplated giving up politics altogether. But something inside him refused to let go. He channeled his disappointment into writing, producing some of his most notable works, including London to Ladysmith via Pretoria, an account of the Boer War. Churchill's marriage to Jenny Jerome also helped keep him afloat during this tumultuous time. Together, they faced their share of challenges, but her unwavering support gave Churchill the strength to persevere. And persevere he did. He bounced back with a vengeance, eventually becoming Prime Minister of England in 1940 and leading Britain through World War II. It was May 10, 1940, a day that would change the course of history. Winston Churchill, just 66 days into his premiership, stood at the precipice of disaster. Nazi Germany had invaded France, and Britain's Prime Minister faced the very real possibility of defeat. As the Dunkirk evacuation unfolded, with hundreds of thousands of Allied troops stranded on French beaches, Churchill knew he had to act. But what? The answer came in a single, decisive moment, the decision to mobilize the British Home Fleet, sending warships into the North Sea to confront the German Navy head-on. This was not just a military move, it was a declaration of Britain's determination to resist. Churchill's words echoed through the halls of power, "We shall fight on the beaches. We shall never surrender." And with that resolve, the tide began to turn. The Battle of Britain raged on, and though the stakes were high, Churchill's unwavering courage had set a new course for his nation. Winston Churchill's rise to greatness was a story of perseverance and passion. Born in 1874, Winston grew up with a love for words and art. At 16, he dropped out of Harrow School and took up journalism, writing over 300 articles for the North Cornwall Herald. But it wasn't until World War I that Winston's career began to take shape. In 1916, he was appointed First Lord of the Admiralty, where he played a key role in shaping Britain's naval strategy. His leadership during the war earned him the respect of his peers and the admiration of the public. The Roaring Twenties saw Churchill's career hit new heights. He became Chancellor of the Exchequer in 1924, where he implemented bold economic reforms that reduced unemployment to a record low. In 1926, he resigned from government, but remained a prominent figure in British politics. But it was his oratory skills that truly made him famous. His speeches during World War II rallied the nation and inspired a generation. As Prime Minister from 1940 to 1945, Churchill led Britain through its darkest hour, famously declaring, "We shall fight on the beaches and never give in." By 1953, Churchill had earned his place as one of history's greatest leaders. His memoirs, The Second World War, became a bestseller, cementing his legacy as a master storyteller and statesman. The world was left to marvel at the man who went from being a young journalist to a global leader, leaving an indelible mark on British history. Winston Churchill, a man of unwavering resolve and unshakable conviction. At the peak of his success, he stood tall as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, rallying a nation against the Nazi menace. As leader, he achieved unparalleled greatness, guiding Britain through the treacherous waters of World War II. His leadership earned him the respect and admiration of world leaders, and his oratory skills left a lasting impact on global politics. Churchill's wartime leadership resulted in a net worth of unassailable confidence, securing Britain's position as a beacon of freedom and democracy. He set records for bravery, facing danger head-on with unwavering resolve. Throughout his illustrious career, Churchill amassed an impressive array of awards and accolades, including the Nobel Prize in Literature and the Grand Cross of the Order of Victory. His global impact was profound, shaping the course of world history and leaving a lasting legacy that continues to inspire generations. In 1945, as Prime Minister, he celebrated victory over Nazi Germany, his finest hour. His words still resonate today: "We shall fight on the beaches, we shall never surrender." Churchill's unwavering spirit, unshakable resolve, and unrelenting passion continue to captivate us all. Here's a secret to a life well lived, courtesy of Winston Churchill: never give up. The man who led Britain through its darkest hour in World War II, who defied Nazi Germany and inspired a nation, knew that perseverance was key. When he faced setbacks, he didn't throw in the towel. Instead, he regrouped, re-strategized, and came back stronger. And it's not just about overcoming adversity, it's about staying true to your vision. Churchill once said, "If you're going through hell, keep going." So, what can we learn from this? When faced with a challenge, don't quit, take a deep breath, gather your strength, and push forward. Remember, every great leader has faced setbacks, it's how they respond that matters. And so, we bid farewell to the indomitable Winston Churchill, a statesman who lit the beacon of hope during